for a check there, turning away from Zidlitsky. Back to Briere. Fire! Oh, Seam deflected stop. Gagne! He scored!
All right, what is up, everyone? My name is Chris, and today, Ivan Provorov has won his second Barry Ashbee Award for being the best defenseman of the 2019-20 season. Today, I am with, lo and behold, Amedeo, Florida podcast host, my partner here for the podcast. Amedeo, how are you, my man? How you doing?
It's doing great. Always a pleasure to be on the show, and ready to get it going. And it's funny when we talked about this earlier. So we record this on Skype when we do videos together, and me and Chris literally just lollygag for like 30 minutes saying, "Oh my God, we haven't done anything." You want to get the video started, then it turns 5 minutes later, we haven't done anything.
Yeah, it's kind of just like I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, you want to get it started? And I start talking about something else. And I'm like, all right, let's go. And then I start talking about something else again. It just goes on and on. I mean, we've already been recording for over 30 minutes and we're just starting to record now. But that is not the purpose of this video. The purpose is to talk about Ivan Provorov, arguably the best defenseman for the Flyers in this 2019-20 season. So if you do not know what the Barry Ashbee Trophy is, it is a panel of journalists and broadcasters who annually vote on the award to honor the best defenseman on the team each season. So this is Provorov's victory. It marks the second time in his 4-season NHL career that the 23-year-old blue liner has won the Barry Ashbee Trophy. He previously won before in his rookie campaign in 2016-17. So realistically, Ivan Provorov, right? Solid all season. He's arguably, the best defenseman. And I personally think he was the best defenseman. I think people kind of see his game this year as more of a bounce back year. He struggled a lot last season. Obviously the team wasn't as great last year, right? We know that. And personally, I think it was more that it was a bounce back, but he also improved, and he improved a lot. I think it was more with the way that they structured the defense this season. He obviously, we talked about this before off camera. You said he got more special teams time. I agree with that as well. I think the power play definitely helped him. And I think realistically, as a whole, he's played phenomenal. He still has not missed a single game in his NHL career. 3 82-game full seasons in 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19. And then this year, with obviously everything ending with the coronavirus and the season getting stopped, 69 games played, 13 goals, 23 assists, 36 points. He was a plus 11. He's averaged about 22 minutes of ice time and above since his rookie year. We've talked about this before on the podcast. 22. It was actually 21:59, so around that's 22 minutes there. That's just his rookie season alone. 2017-18, 24 minutes and 9 seconds is his average. 2018-19 goes up about a minute and less than 2 seconds. 25 minutes and 7 seconds. And this year he goes down a little bit, 24:51, but that is because all the other solid candidates on defense. And I think that was really the humongous part. He logs a lot of minutes and he's solid all around.
It's crazy to think about that. He's been doing this since his rookie season when he was, 19 years old. He's been the number one defenseman, just logging in 20-plus minutes a night. And having your first season to be paired with Andrew McDonald, be carrying the freight train on that defensive pairing. And then you finally get a consistent defensive partner in Matt Niskanen, which I also think was one of the main reasons he bounced back this year and got more consistent.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that too. And I honestly think another thing is I think his physical game turned up a lot as well. I think he was more physical in the corners, and this probably makes sense. It might not at the same time, but Niskanen very physical in the corners. Maybe Provorov got that from Niskanen as well. Niskanen's very good in the corners.
Yep.
And being in the same partner, I mean, that's one of the biggest things. And honestly, I think Provorov stepped it up this year because he knew he could be a leader. And I think, he's coming into it where, this dude's a tank. It's unreal how much, the stories that we've seen. I'm sure you might have seen at the Kevin Hayes interview with Spit and Chicklets, how he talks about Provorov with the ice cream. He just wants the calories.
Basically.
It's unreal. And Provorov, he was phenomenal. And I think really, and I think another thing is too, I think it was more, realistically, he's always been good at moving the puck, right? But I think this year he kind of took that to a different level,
Oh,
where he
definitely.
was like the way how poised he was, that really started to help him. And then another thing is too is he joined the rush so much. I mean, there were so many times he scored goals, and the one that comes to my mind is that goal versus the Capitals. Joins the rush and rips it over Holtby's glove. That right there, and that again, that equals to Niskanen as well, because Niskanen, who's the guy that's a stay-at-home D-man, solid, can very good defensive defenseman moving the puck. And when you have a young rookie like that has offensive talent, and you have a defensive defenseman, veteran guy with him, and that is very solid at playing on the defensive side of the puck, past your blue line, you can join the rush a lot, and
Hmm.
that's what Provorov did, and he excelled at it this season. And as we said about the power play, he had 4 goals, he had 13 goals, 36 assists, which I talked about. That was 4 goals and 5 points behind his career high set in 17-18. And then he contributed to 7 power play goals, 16 power play points this season. Both of them were career highs as well.
Yeah, definitely. Being on that first power play unit, giving him a lot more time to chip in offensively was one of the main reasons he became more successful on the power play. And like getting back, you were saying about his confidence with moving the puck. When you were talking about that game against the Capitals, I was thinking about the goal against Montreal in overtime.
Yeah.
And granted, that was 3-on-3, which is anyone's game, but still, to be a defenseman having that much confidence to do a between the legs move and then drive the net, it's like you have to showcase some type of confidence in order to do that. And I think
Oh
he
yeah.
showcased a ton of confidence this year.
Definitely, yeah. And honestly, I think I feel like the confidence goes around, especially when you start to win. I mean,
Mhm.
you think of that Montreal game. What I don't know if you remember. Do you know what month that was in? November.
Yep.
That was the month that the Flyers were, the best team in the NHL that month.
Yep.
Continued into December. They were pretty good in January, fabulous in February. Continued that into March, and sadly, it all came to a close like it was nothing. But this team phenomenal this season. Provorov was honestly. I feel like he was, I think him, Konechny, and Kevin Hayes were the 3 best players this season.
I could see
And
that.
there's many more that you can throw into that category.
Oh, definitely.
But Provorov's second Barry Ashbee trophy, and it was a very solid campaign for him. And honestly, I feel like, if the, everything I'm about to say right here, it kind of reminds me of the podcast, how I used to do these comparisons. Is it me, or is Provorov like looking like at a Chris Pronger, but minus the physical side and the tenacity that he had? He's reminding me of that like a little bit. I think he's gonna start to come into that.
I, I can see the comparison right there. I, like I know we've said like many times on the podcast that Provorov maybe like in I would say maybe like 3-4 years when he gets closer towards his prime, that's when like he'll probably get closer and closer to winning a Norris Trophy. I think and I feel like he's gonna be that one type of defenseman. He gets better as he ages. Like once he gets into his prime, maybe even past his prime, he gets a lot better. And like it's the same thing in regards to like a player like Carter Hart. Like how young these guys are, they're just going to keep getting better and better as much as they age.
Yeah.
And it's more beneficial that they started in the league so young. It's like the same thing with John Couturier. Look how long it took him to develop his game. He was always a good defensive player, but
Scott
once he
Lawton as
got
well.
same thing with Scott Lund. Once they got that time, they got those minutes, they started to develop their game. They got a better coaching staff, mind that too. And then they got the minutes, they got their support from their coaches, and they thrived on it basically. And
Yeah.
look at Couturier, he's a Selkie favorite.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny, like I feel like we talk a lot about how Provorov is on the offensive side of the puck. He's fabulous on defense too, and it's
Oh,
not so much like
definitely.
him joining the rush and everything like that. He led the team this year in blocked shots with 111 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how good this guy was. I mean, he
Yeah.
was phenomenal this season. He only had 67 giveaways compared to the last 2 years. He had 92 in each, 81 in his first year. So
Mm-hmm.
that right there that's pretty good. But Amedeo, I thank you for coming on and talking about Ivan Provorov here. Remember, guys, Flyer Up Podcast. We are on Instagram, Twitter, and then you can find our podcast on Apple and Spotify. We will have a couple good shows coming soon. We have some things
Definitely.
lined up. We are excited for the return of hockey. I'm excited to see Ivan Provorov in the playoffs with that beard he's got, man, that's gonna be sweet.
Caveman.
And again, yeah, the caveman. Again, Amedeo, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having me on as always.
No problem, man. And again, guys, remember podcast articles, those links are on my channel. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys in the next one, and goodbye.